Hey everyone, this is going to go over your lab kit labs. So this first one that you're going to complete, you do not need the lab kit yet. It's just a graphing, it's an introduction lab, and you will not need a lab kit until like the end of module 2, but that'll be on a separate video. So I'm going to go ahead and view as a student. And when we go in to the module, we will click on this link. So there are two files for all your lab kit labs. There's the lab manual file and then there's the lab report file. So the lab report file is what you are going to actually submit. So the very first thing that you want to do though is you want to read through the lab manual because that gives you all the background information as well as the instructions on how to complete the lab. So when we click on this, this is giving you an overview of what you're going to be doing, the typical time that's required. And then once you go into the background for this particular lab, you do need to understand the difference between independent and dependent variables, especially whenever it comes to identifying them in a chart or in a graph. Typically, the independent variable is something that changed in the experiment. I like to refer to it as like cause and effect. So independent variable is the cause or something that was being tested. And then the dependent variable is the effect, right? That you want to that you're looking for, or the outcome of the experiment. So in this particular case, the in this table right here, the independent variable is the wheat that they're testing, the wheat versus the rye, and then the dependent variable is the height that occurred over the 8 weeks that they collected the data. So then it goes into how to calculate average. Average is typically the amount of the group divided by how many were in the set. And then this goes into calculating standard deviation. So all you're really doing is you're just reading through this, making sure you're reading through it really carefully, because it does take you through, step by step how to complete this. So for instance, this is showing you how to calculate the average height, the standard deviation, and then going into looking at how do you know if your information is correct, if there's error bars, looking at outliers so you can see, okay, does this, does the data that I collected, like, is it within, what we view as the standard deviation, or is it an outlier point? And then it goes into the activity. So it does say that you need graphing software. The first activity you are graphing by hand. Now it literally tells you step by step what your graph should look like. I mean, down to like labeling the axes and everything else. So activity 1 should not be an issue at all. Activity 2 is where you are going to have to graph data using a computer. So I honestly recommend Google Sheets, just because it's open. You don't have to pay for it, as long as you have a Google Drive account. You should be fine. However, if you don't want to use that, the other thing that you can use is called LibreOffice. And this is basically Microsoft Excel, but it's an open source, so it's free. You can, go to the download and download it. Just pick the system that you're using. But honestly, like I said, I would just use Google Sheets. So they also tell you, how to input the information into the spreadsheet so that you can graph it. So just follow exactly and do exactly what they tell you to do. And that way, in case it's been a while since you've graphed data on the computer, or if you've never done it before, this is the tutorial that will walk you through it. So you should end up with a chart that looks similar to this. And then activity 3 is looking at trends in the data. And so this is where you're actually going to be, it walks you through everything, but you are going to have to use what you've learned in here to answer the questions in the data table. At the bottom, they have the hand printed graph for you. So if we go back into your lab report, it should download to your device as a doc. So we're going to open this up. I'm going to enable editing. Okay, so in most of your labs, you are going to need to insert photos. So in this first one, you are taking a picture of your hand-drawn graph that you completed. You want to make sure that you have this information that's there, and then results of that experiment. So, what can you conclude about the height of the different plants over time? And then photo 2 is, from the next set of data. And then here is your data table from the lab manual, where I said you were going to have the equations, and then you're answering the questions. And so once you're done, you're going to save this information, and you will upload the file here. And so that'll be all of your information that you need for the graphing. I hope that's helpful. If you need anything or extra resources, look in the class announcements, because I did post like a video about graphing in there as well. But if there's anything you struggle with, just let me know, and I can help you out.